Good afternoon, accelerators. Welcome to the Thursday afternoon tune-up. I am Diane Spadola, and this is episode number 81. This video series is brought to you by Accelerate Your Success, the business booster program for entertainers. Jump on over to Facebook when I am done and join my free Facebook group by the same name, Accelerate Your Success. There are all kinds of goodies in the files section that you can download for free. Think of this video as your information and inspirational pit stop before the race, which is your busy weekend. So today what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about pivoting. And the reason that I picked today to do that is because it doesn't seem like this whole pandemic thing is going anywhere anytime soon. Back in April, I talked about the fact that this was temporary and that we were going to come out the other side, and it was really important to stay in touch with your customers, stay top of mind with them, so that you would be the first that they would call when people were allowed to gather again after the shutdown was over. But it's been 6 months. And now we know that although the shutdown, the lockdown is over, there are still tons and tons of restrictions, not only on how many people can gather together, but what's the nature of the entertainment that they can have? Are they inside? Are they outside? And if they're inside, what does the ventilation look like? And are people social distancing? Are they wearing their masks? How many people are getting served in the area that used to serve 100, 200, 300 people? These are all questions. And one of the things that I had decided last spring is that I was not going to face paint until it was completely safe for me and all the guests. Now, you may feel that there are, in fact, many things that you can do right now in order to make it safer for your customers, whether you are a balloon twister, a caricature artist, a magician, or a face painter. But what I'm here to talk about today is what happens if you feel the same way as I do, that you can't jump into crowds doing your normal person-by-person entertainment, potentially skin-to-skin touching, facing individuals that you don't know who are not wearing masks and may not be socially distancing, and hanging around with all kinds of strangers, which is what we do when we're hired for a party. If you're not ready to jump back into the fray, then let's talk today about pivoting, and we'll see where we can go from here. I am going to share my screen. Okay, you should be able to see what I see, which is just my intro slide. Let's talk a little bit about pivoting. There are 4 different types of business pivots. And one of the ways that you can think about them is whether they are having to do with the offer that you're making to your customers, or whether they're having to do with the audience that your customers exist in. These are the 4, that's also called Ansoff's matrix. But you can see that there are 4 different types of pivot. There's an offer pivot, a message pivot, a business pivot, and an audience pivot. So let's talk about each one of them in turn. The message pivot is probably the easiest thing. It's selling the same stuff that you always sold, but what you've done is you've actually changed the way that you talk about it. So, for example, prior to COVID, I did small group coaching classes. For 6 months, I would enroll people into a booster program, and I would help them boost their business over the course of 6 months. What happened when COVID took place is that I realized that without work, the people in my industry and other artists and entertainers would not have the money to support a 6-month program. So what I decided to do instead is break my program down, extend it over a period of 12 months, allow people to identify where they are in the program to start, and then move to the end of that journey. I'm still teaching the same things that I used to teach, but I'm doing it for $23 a month now. So if you'd like to join, I'll give you a link at the end of this program that you can sign up for the driver's seat. We're not having open enrollment right now, but we will be opening for a brief period of time at the end of this month or in early September. So my messaging has changed. Instead of offering a big, expensive coaching program to a really small group of people, now I offer 4 pieces of content throughout the month to a small group of people who are paying me smaller amounts of money. Now, hopefully, at one time, the driver's seat will be huge, and that will be my primary service, okay? But it's a messaging change. You know, get little bits of Diane, get little bits of coaching, little bits of training, instead of the intensive 6-month course, okay? So basically, the message pivot is about what you say you do, how you are expressing what your primary service is. My primary service is still the same. I coach solo artists and entertainers to turn their passion into a career that provides artistic and financial freedom so that they can spread more joy, because that's what it's all about for us, right? So then there's the audience pivot. The audience pivot means that you're still providing what you used to do, but you are providing your services to a different audience. So it could be that in the past you were a face painter and a balloon twister for large parties. Now you're delivering balloon bouquets to the family home. It could be in the past that you sold paintings to art lovers. Now you're actually teaching painting online. Another example is places like the Art Factory, who had craft kits that people would come and take advantage of in their studio setting. Now their studio setting is back open, but for a while, they enabled those craft kits to be picked up so that people could do them at home. It's really important that you not abandon the audience if you can serve them in a different way. And since your ultimate goal is to provide joy for fun and festive occasions, think about that face painting, balloon twisting, caricatures, magic, those are only tools that you use to provide the joy. Think deeper and see if there's a different way that you can provide the joy to your audience. Third is an offer pivot. An offer pivot means that you change your delivery time, you're changing your location, you're changing the purpose of the offer. Some of the examples might be instead of providing products, you're selling gift cards or gift certificates. I know a lot of manicurists and salons that did that. Changing the delivery location is the wonderful example of a restaurant can't have people in their doors to eat in the dining room, but they can provide home delivery of the same services or even groceries. Okay, if you change the purpose of the offer, that would be something like you're still painting, okay, you're still exercising your creativity in the same medium as you used to, you're just not doing it on skin. So now you might be painting greeting cards for birthdays or special events. You might be painting masks for face painting instead of actually right on the skin. You might be pivoting to painting windows for restaurants so that you can make their time as they're headed in or outside seating, that they're looking at the signs and the windows of that restaurant that they used to enjoy dinner in. And now they're sitting on the outside, but still feeling the brand, the festive, the fun, and kind of heartfelt messages from the restaurant themselves. The business pivot is probably the most dramatic one, and that is that you're actually taking your business, you're thinking about what it is that you can do and who you can do it for, and you're pivoting in a substantial way. And the best example of this is that when you're creating a completely different product to sell to a completely different audience. I know a linen rental company that basically could have gone out of business when they were unable to provide specialty linens to hotels, venues, weddings, all types of gala and even smaller gatherings. Okay? They weren't going to do that. But what they did is they pivoted their specialty linen business to making masks, which there was a huge need for back in April, and they were enabled to keep all their employees employed while they're making masks to serve a different type of audience. Not the people that are throwing the parties, but the healthcare workers, the people that are in businesses showing up for work every day, the first responders, etc. So that would be the most dramatic pivot when you actually completely change what it is that you're doing, but you'll notice that there was in fact a little semblance of what they were doing because they're still working with fabric. They're still serving the needs of the public, and they are managing to maintain their business financial freedom because they've pivoted to accommodate the pandemic. So if you're looking for ways that you could pivot your business, I encourage you to join our private Facebook group. It's actually kind of an online classroom. I go live in there. I also provide files and tools and resources. I have a wonderful resource guide called Taco Tuesday, which is basically built by the membership of the group. And I update it every 6 months or so. So you can go and download it in the files as soon as you become a member. And then lastly, if you're interested in regular coaching and business support, especially the kind of business support that makes marketing fun, I encourage you to go sign up for the driver's seat because it's inexpensive, it's easy, it's fun, and you get to learn stuff too. So it's educational. Let me share with you the website that you're going to go to sign up for the driver's seat. Here it is. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And all I can tell you is that these are, in fact, strange times that we live in. But it doesn't mean that your business is ruined. It doesn't mean that you need to retire. It means you need to think about things a different way. If there's any way that I can help you pivot or make some decisions about how to pivot, I hope you'll take advantage of my 30-minute discovery call. That's it for this week. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week.